Hi, this is Faisal Sharif, and welcome to another episode of Sport and Pastime. We've got some very interesting things to discuss today, the two one dayers that India has won, and with it, the series. And also, as promised, we are going to have a guest on the show. For that, you'll have to wait a bit. But before that, let's dive into it. Hi, Prem.
Hey, Faisal, and hello all. This is Prem Panikar. And Faisal, remember I was telling you about the road trip. So right now I'm logged in from a lodge in an undisclosed location. So if you have issues with audio and all that, you know why that's happening. So let's do this.
Cool. So, I don't know where we should start with. Should it be the first one day or the second one? I'm very excited about Rohit Sharma getting 100 and, just showing what champions are made of. But what did you make of the innings today?
Yeah, see, Rohit Sharma's one-day form has never been in question, no? As it turns out, we've only played what three one-dayers in 2024, and these two now. So after the World Cup, our focus was on the WTC, and we started playing all or predominantly Test matches with some T20s thrown in. We only had the three ODI series against Sri Lanka, and if you remember, Rohit didn't do badly in that at all. He was still
Correct.
on that whole World Cup mode where he was looking to be aggressive from the beginning. So he was scoring 30s, 40s on that Sri Lanka tour, and all of them at strike rates of 130, 140 and above. So nothing has changed. It's just that this time he built the innings. I mean, he didn't actually build the innings. He kept going hard at and the innings continued. So, I mean, I don't think there's ever been a question that Rohit is arguably one of two premier uh, uh, ODI batsmen. The other one used to be so you had Rohit at the top and you had Kohli in the middle to take the game to the finish line. The problem is with Kohli, whose form even last year he wasn't all that good in Sri Lanka. The thing with Kohli in the Sri Lanka series that I remember is he kept starting slow, which is his typical game, right? He wants to build his innings and then he starts to escalate. But the problem is that he kept getting out. He never built significant extent.
Correct.
And that's
But
happening
Prem,
here as
you
well. So
Yeah. But Prem, you've realized that you remember there's a bit of a similarity between Rohit Sharma and Virender Sehwag here. Virender Sehwag always succeeding at the test level, but always had a problem with the one day format and the white ball. And here it's Rohit Sharma. The moment the color of the ball changes to white, he's in his element. And it's test cricket and the struggles and, the ultimate thing where he had to sit out for the last test match. What do you think goes on for a batsman of that class to struggle with the
I
color of
don't
the
know.
ball?
I think one is look, you have to realize that in Test cricket you're playing far more. The bowlers are far more aggressive. They are able to bowl more attacking lines in the beginning, and he's an opener. So he's going to face the new ball when it's swinging, seaming, and you have two, three slips and all of that. Whereas in
Right.
white ball cricket, that doesn't really, they're bowling more containing lines. The wickets tend to be more batter friendly than bowler friendly most times. I mean, occasionally you are getting bowler friendly wickets even now, but it's and also the batsman's mentality, right? In the tests, you don't come out there saying, I'm going to swing for the fences from the first ball.
Yeah.
You're trying to sort of play, and his defense is where his problems start. And then he
Right.
tries to play these shots. Yeah. So I think it's a combination of the fact that Test cricket initially is, and also the red ball does move a lot more than the white ball,
Yes.
at least in the
Very
starting
much.
starting passages of play. So all of that is coming into play. What I was intrigued by is England. Yeah. I mean, they seem to have only two problems. One is they can't bowl on batting friendly wickets, and they don't know how to bat on bowling friendly wickets. Abhi, somewhere along the way, it's just not working out for them.
Yeah, it's
I
just,
thought
I
they
think
could have.
Brook, Harry Brook, I think the failure of Harry Brook has been a huge, huge factor. Livingstone and Harry Brook in the middle order have just not been able to deliver. Duckett and Butler have been doing all the scoring.
Yeah, and also I think somewhere the captaincy is also going for a toss because look, I was looking at the guys like Liam Livingston, for instance, was the most, let's say, economical of the bowlers. But he bowled
Yeah,
3 overs less than he should have. Whereas you had Gus Atkinson coming in bleeding runs and you kept giving him spells and he kept going for runs because, I mean, he was just bowling fast and on a length and he was getting taken. Uh, so, yeah, I mean, I think the three best bowlers, Adil Rashid obviously got to complete his spell, but the other two didn't. And you had
yeah,
guys like Mark Wood and Gus Atkinson bowling far more. Mark Wood gave away, I think, 57, 58, and Gus Atkinson gave away some 63 odd runs.
yeah. That's
Uh,
crazy.
so, yeah, all told, it just doesn't compute for me, actually.
Yeah, they've got no, and they've been losing consistently now. England's white ball is it's really they're going to have to really really kind of recalibrate and see what they're going to do. But having said that, Prem, I mean, I want you to talk about Gill and Shreyas. I think right now Shreyas, according to me, is India's best one-day batsman. The way he's batting, and he's just picked up exactly from where he left off in the 23 World Cup. He's just been phenomenal in these last two one days also.
Yeah, you know what? I think we've pretty much, if form holds, this should be our top two, Rohit and Gill. I don't think that that experiment of Gill coming in at three should be even attempted. It should be Rohit and Gill opening because they're contrasting players, right? Gill takes a little bit of time to start escalating. Rohit starts to go from the beginning. So there is that balance, and at least there is no risk at one end. And Shreyas at four is, like you said, he's perfect for that position. He can accelerate at will. He is comfortable. And the interesting thing about Shreyas is everybody kept saying that Shreyas is very uncomfortable against a short ball. He's figured it out, yeah.
Yeah,
He still gets into some awkward positions at times, but he's now pulling with a lot more conviction. He's hooking with a lot more conviction, uh, which basically means that the short pitch delivery, and also you have to remember that in ODIs you can't keep using the short ball anyway. You have that
yeah,
limit. So I think he is perfectly placed because against both pace and spin he is comfortable and he hits really really hard, and his fielding is a bonus.
yeah.
Fielding and throwing
But
in
do you
from the
think?
deep. So your problem is going to be your number three.
Yeah, yeah. And Kohli failed again today. It's just sad to see Yashasvi sit out and Kohli come in and not being able to deliver the goods again. And I think to have two players like Kohli and Gill both who take a bit of time to get in and they need a few balls and deliveries to kind of get their eye in. I don't know if India can afford that.
Yeah, so that is the thing that is puzzling, right? From the last World Cup onwards, Rohit and the team management. In fact, at that point, it was Rahul Dravid, and first Rohit and Rahul, now Rohit and Gautam Gambhir are both talking about in white ball cricket, you need to go hard from the beginning and keep going hard, which is pretty much what England also talks about, but doesn't walk that talk. But that's a different story.
Right,
Uh, but the
right.
problem then is uh, Gill plays his way, and that's fine because he ends up playing longer innings and he does hold one end up, and he's increasingly prone to rotating strike and giving it to the other guy. So he's not holding up the innings. But if you have Gill and Kohli coming together and both of them playing that game, then you have a big choke in the middle, in the early part of the innings,
Correct.
and that is where.
Yeah.
So what will
So
happen is that the batsmen at the at the lower levels, Shreyas onwards, will have to start playing catch up as opposed to escalating.
Correct. So looks interesting. I mean, we have a problem of plenty now, which is always a good thing. And let's hope India can wrap up this series. But having said that, what do you think
If
could
you're
be
talking
India's
of
only problem? Sorry?
No, I said if you're talking of problem of plenty, just consider that we still haven't even considered Abhishek Sharma coming into the ODI squad.
Oh yeah, that was one. Did you get to see that innings? I think it's one of the
Yeah, I
best
saw it.
T20
Yeah,
innings, not just by an Indian, but one
absolutely.
of the better T20 innings. Clean hitting.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
very. So I'll just quickly finish. I was saying I'm skeptical about T20 innings only because of the short boundaries, but the way he was hitting, it didn't matter. Even at the MCG, most of those would have been sixes. I think there was 157-meter six that I mean, you're caught well inside the boundary line if you hit 57 meters. But other than that, all the other these things were beautifully played shot. And he's not slogging, he's not playing, funky stuff. He's actually playing cricket shots and pulling them off.
And you think
Yeah,
that
you were
that
saying?
I mean that brings me to the other question is that you reckon that India needs to have separate one day and T20 teams, or you think there needs to be a decent overlap?
I think there will inevitably be an overlap, no? Because, I mean, in the bowling, there'll definitely be an overlap, and that overlap is increasing. If you notice, Varun Chakravarti has come into the ODI reckoning from the T20 squad. Uh, Shubman Gill plays both forms. Rohit and
Correct.
Virat are not part of the T20 anymore. But I would imagine players like Yashasvi Jaiswal, increasingly Abhishek Sharma, uh, all of them are going to be very much part of the of both the white ball squads, and they deserve to be. I mean, they have the skills, they have the and they're young, they're fearless, all of which is what India has been looking for. So I think where we are looking at and the problems, at least as far as the immediate issue, which is the Champions Trophy, is concerned, is I'm still a bit nervous about because we still don't know what is happening with Bumrah. Shami is looking undercooked. He's not. He's not the Shami pre-injury Shami at all. The ball is not moving. Whenever Shami bowls, what is beautiful is it's almost like an oil painting. Is that seam position of his? When that starts to go, you
Yeah,
know that Shami is not in the right place. Uh,
correct.
and so far in the two ODIs, I mean not in the two ODIs, in this ODI, I didn't see that old Shami. I don't know if he's still just sort of on his way back from injury, but if we don't have Shami and if Bumrah is still struggling with his injury, then we're beginning to have new ball problems.
Anyways, talking about Champions Trophy, as we had promised that we are going to have a guest very soon on our show. We're keeping our promise. And Prem, let's jump to our guest, our first guest of Sports and Pastime.
Absolutely.
And as promised, Prem, time to get our guest, our first guest of Sport and Pastime on. Welcome, Mr. Ramiz Raja. I have many ways to
Hello, hello,
introduce
hello.
you.
Thank you for having me on your show. Thank you.
Welcome, Ramiz bhai.
So, former Pakistan
Thank you, friend.
captain, former chairman of Pakistan Cricket Board, opener, part of the World Cup winning team of 1992, and of course the famous voice, one of the most loved commentators of our times. Thank you so much, Ramiz Bhai, for being
Thank,
on the show. Really appreciate it.
thank, thank you for that lovely intro, Faisal. Thank you.
So, Ramiz Bhai, I want to start by asking you about what does it mean for Pakistan that after almost 2.5, 3 decades, an ICC tournament is happening uh, in Pakistan? What does it mean for Pakistan cricket?
I think there's this pressure also to deliver, but also this happiness that Pakistan has been recognized as a pit stop in world cricket. So, from that perspective, everybody is very excited about the prospect of this honor and sort of introducing our sample of hospitality to the entire cricket fraternity. I just wish that India could have been here because culturally and from so many angles, we're very similar. And going back in year 2004 when that great series took place between India and Pakistan, I think the reason why it became a great series was because a lot of fans traveled from across the border and came here and then sampled our hospitality and sampled great cricket as well. But that's not to be. But anyway, exciting times.
Yeah, I was there, Ramiz. I was there on the 2004 tour, and I have not had any cricket tour like that in my entire career. Traveled all across cricket playing countries, but nothing like the hospitality that we got in Pakistan and the level of cricket, and it was just the most unforgettable tour. And I think Saurav Ganguly also recently on a documentary said the same thing, that he's not had any tour like the 2004 tour.
Yes, I mean, and it was pretty. It wasn't as if we tried. It was just something that was a national experience for the Indian fans and for us also. And that's the beauty about that tour. That it was such a natural, seamless sea of emotion for the Indian fans and for Indian cricket team. And that the series became such a high point also from cricketing aspect that it became an unforgettable series in a tournament.
So, Ramiz bhai, you talked about this as a showcase for Pakistan cricket, and that you're happy that it's now become a pit stop or has been recognized as a pit stop. Uh, what is your take on the current status of the stadiums and also of the team itself? How ready do you think you are for
So, I mean, the stadiums, I mean, I was there for the inauguration of Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore, and
Gadaf?
I mean, it looked a lot cleaner, from visibility point of view, from spectators' pleasure point of view, screens and the LED lights. I mean, from that perspective, I think we're ready to welcome the world. I mean, there are little things like few paints here and there that will be taken care of after the tournament, probably, but everything is in readiness. From team's perspective, I'm not too sure whether we are there and can be a serious candidate at this stage. I mean, anything can happen. That Pakistan cricket is difficult to predict. What we produce on the
Yeah.
field can absolutely amaze the entire world uh, because we've always had that X factor, that surprise factor. So, going by that, I'm expecting Pakistan to once again surprise the world. But on paper, the way the first game was played against New Zealand, I'm just a little bit worried because of the combination. It's not because of the performance on the day, but how are we going to get 20 wickets on batting surface? I think that's the question that needs to be answered because in ODI cricket, the best way to control a team from not scoring 300 is picking up wickets that disrupts the flow of the innings. And to do that, I'm not too sure that the bowling that we have picked. I mean, on paper it looks great. Possibly a very very fine bowling attack.
Ramesh bhai, just in with the question of the team that has been selected. In recent times, Pakistan seems to be experimenting a lot with its bowling combination. You're using medium pace, seam and swing, and benching your fast bowlers. You're preparing for home conditions. You're preparing turning tracks. So Sadiq and Noman Ali have been your strike bowlers. Is this part of some strategy, or is it just experimenting and trying to figure things out? Is it a reset? What's going on?
I think it's a reset. Obviously, we've not been able to pick up victories at home, and so they decided that if the Pacers are not doing the job, it's a problem of picking up 20 wickets in Test match cricket. And so the Pacers, because of the state of the pitches, I guess, and because how Test cricket is being positioned. The best months to play Test cricket in Pakistan, as far as the weather is concerned, as far as the pitches are concerned, has got to be in winter months. So anywhere from Jan to April, Jan to March is the test match calendar for us, or should have been. But because of so much of cricket and league cricket being played all over the world, you're trying to find a space to fit in test match cricket, and it's a filler. It's not your main show anymore. So and that really frustrates me. That bugs me, because test cricket has got to be put at a pedestal, and it has to be looked after and nurtured, because it creates drama, it creates superstars. It is the foundation of producing T20 and ODI cricketers as well. You learn a lot by playing test match cricket, but to have it as a filler is not going to improve cricket, in at least in Pakistan. So I think that is an area where we've been absolutely massacred from technical point of view, and so the pitches were kind of dead. We just couldn't produce enough grass on it, because either the Test series was played in hot months like September, in October. Even October is not a friendly weather for Test match cricket, and that too when you're playing against Australia or England. So then they decided that, I think we're not getting response from the conditions. Let's try, these spin mat tracks, and it worked against England perfectly. But
Yeah.
England did support our cause as well by playing reckless cricket at times. But I think that seems to be the way forward. At home, do what is at your disposal, surprise the world with spin. But it can backfire, like it did against the West Indies in the last game. So, I mean, we're still trying to find our feet as far as conditions, as far as winning at home is concerned. But I think they've found a way somehow to tease the opposition in home conditions, which means that we are moving away from our traditional pillar of strength, which is fast bowling. But to encourage fast bowling, you've got to have the pitches as well. And so you've got to think out of the box. Look at some other options, look at proper playing months for test match cricket, where you can grow a bit of green on the surface, where the likes of Shaheen and Naseem Shah can offer a little bit
Yeah.
more resistance. So that kind of scenario. So it's still, it's not perfect, but at least we found some winning momentum.
According to you, Ramiz bhai, who are the players from the Pakistan team that one needs to look out for? You looking at any of the youngsters who you think could make a mark? Because there are a lot of youngsters in this squad that's been named for the Champions Trophy.
Yeah, there is talent, but it's raw talent. So, as we all know, when you're playing a world quality tournament, you're tested on so many fronts. I mean, your temperament, your technique, what you offer when the pressure is on, clarity of mind, thinking, how the bodies will react. What about the fielding aspect? So I wouldn't say that one guy is going to create magic for Pakistan, but it's the wholesome effort. And I think Pakistan need to up the game by at least 20 to 30% in all the departments. I would have loved Saim Ayub to be part of this show, because it's really exciting and great to watch. And some of the innings that he played in Australia and South Africa were quite amazing stuff. We get very excited when we see even half a talent of batting compared to India in Pakistan, because our go-to guide has been fast bowling. We surprised the world by sort of picking a young 17-year-old like Naseem Shah, and in his first or second Test match, he picked up a hat trick. And so that's quite a norm for us. But to see somebody like Saim Ayub or Babar Azam to qualify as a frontline batsman in world sort of map really excites us. But then you've got Babar Azam. He needs to find his form. You've got Rizwan. You've got quite a few, middle order players also. South Shakil is pretty exciting to watch. He plays spin expertly. But once again, it's the overall wholesome effort that needs to look after victories. It can't be a one-man show. Fakhar Zaman, I don't know. If he gets cracking, it could be a one-man show then. But I think generally, you've got to be good in all departments to beat a team like India, for example. I think that's going to be the game for me. So we India actually these days not only uh, they arrest the fall during a one-day game or a T20 game. No other team does that except India. When the going gets tough, it is very difficult to then take a pause, reset, reboot, and then launch a counter punch or a counter attack. India does that so often and so well that it is quite amazing. And then they also tend to expose the cricket systems of the opposition also, because they tend to be very calm under pressure, win from any position. And so the world thinks that if India can do this, why can't Pakistan think fast on their feet? Why couldn't they do it? Why didn't they have that kind of clarity? And it's not only Pakistan, England, for example, in the recent series, you see them blown away by great strategy, good batting services. India unleashes 3 or 4 spinners, and that's the end of the battle. But then also, that great win in the World Cup final against South Africa. Nobody had India winning the contest, and suddenly, there's a little pause, reset, reboot, got a couple of wickets, and they were home. I think no other team has done that in white ball cricket, and that's why I think that game will define where Pakistan cricket is. Because it'll test you out completely from talent point of view, from cricketing point of view, from pressure point of view, from playing well on the day. So that's the game for me actually.
It's a nice balanced assessment, Ramiz bhai, and interestingly, you're not going flat out bullish on Pakistan's chances. But look at Group A. You have India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and New Zealand. How do you
Hmm.
rate Pakistan's chances of moving into the last four,
I
even if you
think
take out the India-Pakistan game?
I think they should be reasonably reservedly confident. Anything can happen. But this try series will help them to sort out the combinations. I don't know. There's a chance that the team may be changed. Couple of changes made. I'm not too sure whether that will happen or not. Whether that should happen or not. Uh, but I think this triangular will determine where we are as far as Champions Trophy is concerned, because teams are playing hard cricket. New Zealand had the focus on. They looked more like the home team in that last encounter against Pakistan. So Pakistan, as far as I'm concerned, they should be able to qualify for the semi-final.
Inshallah.
What are you? Who are you picking as your semi-finalists?
Well, it's got to be India. I'm backing Pakistan, backing Australia, and not too sure about England. I think maybe Sri Lanka. I don't know. I mean, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan can tease you, can trouble you, but and they played the semi-final of the World Cup as well. The last World Cup, which was a T20, wasn't it, in America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in West Indies in America, yeah. So I mean, these are the teams basically off the cuff.
Thank you, Ramiz bhai. Thank you for taking the
Thank you, thank
time.
you.
It's total
Cheers,
pleasure.
cheers.